Hey everybody, today is Wednesday, November the 18th, and we are still talking about multiplication. We learned 2 weeks ago about how we could represent a multiplication situation with repeated addition. We learned last week about using multiplication in equal groups. This week we're working on arrays, and today we're going to continue working with arrays for multiplication. The reason why we use multiplication and use strategies to help us with multiplication is so that we can quickly find the total number. Especially we can with multiplication we can find it quicker and much faster because they're equal groups, so we can just multiply rather than having to add over and over and over and over and over, like we would if we were adding unlike amounts. So it does help us eventually to be much quicker to find the total number, or what we call the product in a multiplication problem. So today we are continuing arrays, and our lesson today is going to be about how many arrays. So we're going to be thinking about, can we make an array in more ways than one to solve a problem? So I want you to take a look at this picture. I want you to think about what you notice. So pick out some things that you notice, and then think about some things that you wonder about this picture. It's really important that when we look at multiplication and look at any math problem for that matter, that we always think about what we envision from the word problem so that we can get an idea of what the problem is even talking about. So in this case, we're looking at a picture of ties that are in a small divided box. Um, there's lots of things to notice here. There's lots of colors, there's lots of patterns. I see that there's 4 rows. I see that there's 6 columns. And, some things to wonder is, does one person own all of these ties? I always think about things like that. I wonder how many there are altogether. There's all kinds of things that we can notice and wonder just by looking at a picture. So that's what I want you to do when we have problems like this, or when you have a word problem. I want you to see what the problem is talking about so that you can understand it a little bit better. So in this case, there's lots of things that we could be looking at here. Um, we have a kid named Will. Will says that he can make at least 4 different arrays using 24 counters. Now, if we think back to what that tie looks like, the tie box, we saw that there were rows and columns. We also saw multiple pieces there. If we looked at that picture and we added those numbers, we could actually come up with a number sentence that would match an equation that would match in multiplication. So I want you to think for a few minutes, what multiplication sentence could you come up with that would work for this problem? I hope you're saying 4 times 6, because we've been talking about we multiply the number of rows times the number of columns. So in this case, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. So if I'm going to be writing a multiplication sentence for this particular problem, I would write 4 times 6. I could also do that in a repeated addition sentence as 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. Now, we're going to take that number that we come up with. Now, remember, we can add these by just counting by 1. We can add by 4s. We can add by 6s to get the total. And we would find the result, or the product, of 4 times 6 to equal 24. Now, let's go back to this problem that Will talked about. So we see an array here that equals 24. Will says he can make at least 4 different arrays using 24 counters. You're going to try to determine today whether or not Will is correct. So you're going to be using your virtual manipulative slide. You're going to have your counters here. So when you click on that virtual manipulative slide, which I will attach to your lesson work, you will click on this, and you're going to try to determine whether or not Will is correct. Now, I'm going to be putting on there Will's slide so that you can see what he said, and then you're going to try to determine whether or not Will is correct. And I'm also going to add this slide. This slide is asking you specific questions about what you were able to build. Okay, so you're going to share with me how many arrays did you build? Did you build 4? Did you build 2? Did you build 3? Because you're trying to prove whether or not Will's correct. So you've got to find all cases where you could build an array with 24 counters. How did you record the array? Did you record it in repeated addition sentence? Did you record it as an equation, a multiplication equation, or multiplication sentence? And then it's asking you what equations represent the arrays that you built. So if you build 2, I should see 2 equations. If you built 4, like Will thinks, then you're going to write me 4 equations. If you build 8, then you're going to write me equations for all 8. And that's what you're going to put on this slide. How do you know you made all possible arrays? So you're going to try to determine how you know for a fact that you made all possible arrays, that there's no other possibilities out there. And then you're going to decide whether or not you agree with Will. So this is an assignment that you're going to do in addition to your Math IXL for today. So you're going to have these questions to answer on this slide. I will make a space where you can just type it in, and you're going to answer the questions based on what you do on your virtual manipulative slide. So you're going to go to your virtual manipulative slide. You're going to click on the 2 counters, and then you're going to click on the link to open those up. Now, we have used those in class already this week twice. So if you were in my class on Monday, you use these. If you were in my class on Tuesday, you use these. So make sure that you know how to use them today. If you are in my class that's going to be with me today, you can just wait until the live lesson and we will do this activity together. So make sure that you're showing me what you were able to do. And if you want to, I don't mind. I think a couple of weeks ago, I had a student to take a picture of what they were doing and what they did. They actually showed me on a dry erase board. If you want to draw these arrays out with a dry erase board and take a picture of it and upload it to our lesson work, that would be awesome. I would be so excited about that. Or you could go ahead and use these counters and take pictures of it that way if you want. Download them and attach those to your lesson so I can actually see what you built, because that makes me happy to get to see those things that you're doing to solve the problems. So again, you're going to be doing your problem of the day, your questions that I'm going to be putting on a slide for you. You're going to be doing IXL E7. And today, I want you to tell me whether or not you like math any better than you did at the beginning. Because I had some people that said they didn't like math. I want you to say, yes, I'm starting to like math better, or no, I still feel the same about math, or I love math, I've always loved math. So I just want you to tell me how you're feeling about math right now in the comments on your section where you turn in your work. That's going to let me know that you've watched this video and that you did listen to the assignments that were being assigned and you understand what those assignments are. Now, if you have questions throughout the day, you can always get back on the whole group Google Meet, and I'll be there to help you out if you need any help. But I hope everybody has a great day. Get all your work finished and work hard, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks.